'cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way, I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. So tell your good night, 'cause I'll find no matter what. Yeah, susceptible now, before the moment flies, before it flies. So tell your good night, 'cause I'll find no matter what. Susceptible now, before the moment flies.
Shout out, shout out, shout out to all you guys that are here and all you ladies that dare to tread this channel. You're watching Andre and Andre's Love Crossing Borders. There are a lot of reasons why Black people don't travel in the United States. Statistics show that many Black people in the United States, or even brown people, feel that it is not economical for them at this point in time. A lot of people of color feel that, you know, I have everything I need in the United States. Why would I leave our country 'tis of thee? There are other reasons and other factors that Black people, statistically, after surveys that have been done, have found not to travel as much. So for those of you who have passports, congratulations, because you are a rare breed, very rare. But one of the other reasons why they say Black people don't travel is because of racism. Even before they get on a plane, train, automobile, Black people quite often have to take in consideration, even brown people have to take in consideration ramifications that could occur while traveling. You can call it while traveling, while Black, or whatever you will call it. But at the end of the day, it is something that a lot of Black people have taken consideration before they even consider leaving the United States. In other words, they assume what they experience in the States might be even worse outside the States. Now, for those of us who do travel, we know that racism is in every country, but it is nothing like the United States. The United States to this day still has lynchings. We have the deletions of many of our young men and women just as of late, with no answer and no consequences. That's the United States that we live in. Same United States from the 1940s, 1840s, 1826, 1926, 2026. And really, not much has changed. But we're going to talk about travel and racism tonight, because there's a freedom that a lot of us that are people of color coming from the United States have discovered, and we'd like for you to discover it too. Yes, once again, racism is everywhere you go, but it is nothing. And I say, when it comes to Americans, now, I don't know about our African brothers or Caribbean brothers. I'm not African and I'm not Caribbean. But I can say for us American men and women, our experience of racial freedom, well, it's a real thing. And we're going to talk about that tonight to keep many of you who are considering travel international encouraged. Shout out to all you guys that are here. Guys, do me a favor. If you hear the soundboard tonight, put a 1 in the comment section. I know I just clicked on the soundboard. Put a 1 in the comment section if you hear the soundboard. If you don't hear the soundboard, just put a 0. All right. Thank you very much, Alexis. Thank you very much for letting me know that you hear the soundboard. We're good? All right. Great. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Let me scroll up to the comment section because we have our celebration of our brother Alexander becoming a member. Yes, sir. Shout out to our brother Alexander becoming a member of the Love Crossing Borders family. Thank you very much for supporting the family. And I hope everything that we do, the prayers that we put out for you and your loved ones, Alexander, the words of encouragement that we put out on this channel are helpful with you for your current travel endeavors as well as future endeavors. So shout out to you and all you guys that support the channel. And speaking of Alex, shout out to my brother Alexander with the $5 love. Glad to see that you're here. We got 22 in the building. This is going to be a good one, guys. This is going to be a good one. I'm going to lay a foundation a little later on why I'm talking about this. I want to lay a foundation a little later in a minute after the shout outs. Why is Andre talking about racism and racial freedom and travel? What happened? What happened? Drake doesn't just come up with a topic to come up with it. What happened? We're going to talk about what happened. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to 313 Nate in the building. In other words, the Detroit boys. Them Detroit boys always in the building showing some love to this Detroit man. Shout out to you. Hello to all here, LCB, Love Crossing Borders family. Happy vibes on a Thursday. Yes, sir. Tomorrow is the inauguration for the president of Colombia. And they're going to be doing it here in Cali. They're going to be doing it here in Cali, Colombia. Popcorn and soda in hand. Let's go. Yes, sir. We got it. I got you, brother. Shout out to my brother Numero Dos, Rico, in the building. Glad to see that you're here, as well as my brother Ahmad Milner of the Milner family. Glad to see that you're here as well, brethren. And once again, shout out to my brother Alexander for joining the family as a new member. As well as a member or person that's always supported the channel is our brother Jay Fleming in the building, LAJ. Yes, sir. He said it's going to be a good one. I think I know what it's about. Yeah, you might know. You might know. You know, I always got a reason, a method to my madness. Shout out to my brother Geechee Man in the building. He says this: 100% don't let racism hold you back. Absolutely correct. When I was in Rio, my dark skin tone was an asset. An asset. And I hear that quite often from our darker tone brothers who travel. Shout out to my brother Jay Kaysen in the building. Good evening, family. Good evening to you as well, brother. Glad to see that you're here, along with David Dice of the Dice family. Salute to you as well, Dave. Glad to see that you're here. And to Mrs. Spence. Andrea is in church right now. She does Thursday night Bible study, so she's in church right now. So shout out to Andrea. And Ransom representing in the building. Buenas tardes, good afternoon. Actually, it's good evening. Buenas noches now here in Colombia, but it might be buenas tardes where you're located, brother. But shout out to you and all the amigos out there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I am supporting data is in the building. You've been putting out some great content lately, man. I've been watching your videos. Keep up the great work, man. Keep up the great work. Salute to you as well, brethren. Salute to you as well. And thank you for letting me know, guys, that you can hear the soundboard, because I remember the other day we couldn't hear it. Now, Nate said he couldn't hear it, but the rest of you guys said that you can hear it. Shout out to my brother Alexander, the Great, J.A. in the building. J.A. is his name. Shout out to you. He said salute to the grown man chat and Andre's Love Crossing Borders. Salute to you as well, brother. Glad to see that you're here. Glad to see that you're here. And Bobby Coltrane of the Coltrane family in the year of our Lord, 2026. Glad to see that you're here. He said, I hope all is well with each and every one of you. Enjoy this evening's program. Just to give you guys heads up, if any of you guys are coming to Cali tonight, or are in Cali, Colombia tonight, tomorrow is going to be a dry spell. No cars, no trucks, barely nothing is allowed on the road tomorrow while they do the inauguration. They are literally shutting Cali down. Dude, I've seen helicopters all over the city, fighter jets, yes, fighter jets flying overboard, overhead. I'm talking about they're going to be having over 11,000 military here in Cali, Colombia over the next day. So, I mean, when I was driving today, police were out in masses, military are out in masses because they're going to be on this side during the inauguration. That's one thing on the north side of Cali, but they're going to be on the other side of the city doing the actual inauguration. But then afterwards, the after party is going to be in Chippy Chape Mall. Yeah, they didn't think I knew. They didn't think I recognized it. Okay, check it out. I'm in Chippy Chape Mall today. Let me turn the music down just a little bit. I'm in Chippy Chape Mall, and they are going in on the decorations. And you're thinking like, okay, it's a celebration going on, you know, first inaugural president in outside of Bogota, and they chose Cali. Okay, cool, right? So I'm there with my brother Tim. Shout out to my brother Tim who's here. We got a chance to hang out in the mall today before coming to do the show. And the crazy part is there is a gigantic, like it's got to be a 60-foot statue of the Michelangelo statue of David from out of nowhere in the middle of the mall. So you're looking like, what the heck? Okay. And then you go a little further away from there. There's a Michelangelo David section that's all, it's like covers like a gigantic tent that's inside the middle of Chippy Chape Mall. And it's in the center. And you're like, okay, something's going to be going on in that tented section. So you kind of like look past it if you're the average Colombian, right? Or even if you're the average American, you see this tent area and you see this giant statue and you see all the work that they're doing around the mall. And you just look at it like, okay, upgrading the mall, right? No. For those of us who have been to black tie dinners, for those of us who have been to fundraisers, to those of us who have been to award ceremonies, you recognize this. You like, wait a minute. Because I've been to award ceremonies and fundraisers and after parties for political events at malls, at museums, in major large auditoriums. I've been to these. I'm like, wait a minute. They're going to be doing the after inauguration dinner in that tented area, that Michelangelo tented area. That's why the giant statue is here. So shout out to Chippy Chape Mall for being the host of the Colombian presidential, basically after party or after dinner event. And they have all type of dignitaries coming from around the world here. So it is not just Colombia. You've got princes and prime ministers coming to Colombia. This is a big, big, big deal. I don't know why it's so big, but Colombia, it seems that Colombia is actually really putting itself on the global map, especially with Middle Eastern investors. That's one of the things that's causing the Colombian dollar to take off the way that it has over the last few months, is because so many billions of dollars have flooded into Colombia and is strengthened, or not foreign dollars have come into Colombia by way of business investments, real estate investments, and other things, that the Colombian pesos has become stronger than what it used to be before. And that's why the dollar has been going down. Yes, sir. So Nate's just the only one that said he didn't hear it, the sound bar. Once again, I'm going to ask you guys again, I want to do you guys hear when I put a 1 in the comment section if you hear when I hit the soundboard. If you don't hear it, just let me know. Put a 1 if you do hear it. Put a 0 if you don't hear it. And I'll try it one more time. Okay, so I tried it again and I'm still getting zeros. Okay, I need to listen to it myself because that means I might not be hearing it either. All right, thank you guys. Thank you guys. I may have to disconnect it and then reconnect it again later on. I'll do that. If they no can't hear it, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And you know what the crazy part is? You guys can hear me, and I am. Wait a minute. Maybe I hit something. Maybe I made a mistake and hit something. ABC one. Let me see. Okay. Maybe I made a mistake and hit something. I'll try it one more time. Okay, we'll see. Now you can hear it? Okay, cool. Okay, now you can. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. That's what it was. I made a mistake and pushed one of the buttons by mistake. Sound is now working. Okay, DJ. Appreciate you, brothers. Teamwork. It's teamwork on this channel. It is not a one man, one woman band. I tell you not. All right. He said, type for the second go round. Okay, cool. Perfect. Yeah, because it has the buttons on here too at the bottom, and I probably made a mistake and hit the wrong button. So shout out to you guys. And shout out to Alexander said, Andre, the sound bar is not working no more or anymore. I got you, brother. Shout out to my brother Jay once again. Salute to you in the building. Glad to see that you're here as well as my brother Jermon in the building. Giving shout outs to all the guys. Salute to you as well, Jermon. Glad to see that you're here, brother. All right. Now let me turn up my audio. Did I turn my audio down? Okay, yeah, I'm good. Cool. Okay, let's go here. Let me make sure I got everybody thus far. My brother Elhelm in the building. He said they putting Cali on the map. I know, right? They are putting Cali on the map. They have never had an inauguration outside of Bogota. It's just this is equivalent to Trump having his inauguration in Florida or in New York. That's how big of a deal this is. It's like Trump deciding I'm not going to do it in DC in front of the White House. I'll do it, or in front of the Capitol. I think in front of the White House. I'll do it in Florida, or I'll do it in New York. That's how out the box this actually is. Shout out to Kofa and Zeta being in the building. Glad to see that you're here. Let me scroll down. Look like I got everybody thus far. Other than my brother, the last but not least, Crypto Dragon Emperor. Oh, that's loud. That's loud in my ear. Okay, so shout out to you, brother. Glad to see that you're here. Magnificent evening. It really is a good evening. It really is. It really is a good evening. And remember, next week is Petronio Alvarez Festival. So all you guys are going to be here. Be ready to have a great time. Eat as much as possible. Enjoy the concerts. Enjoy the after the clubs, everything. It's going to be off the chain everywhere. Off the chain everywhere here in Cali. He said they're thinking about making a co-presidential headquarters in Cartagena. Actually, he's doing it in Barranquilla, where he's from. He's not going to do the. I know exactly what you're talking about. He's from the Atlantic coast originally, so that includes Cartagena. But his businesses and everything that has to do with his campaign and everything is in his home is Barranquilla. And there's a lot of money because of Middle Easterners for years, where Shakira's from, where Sofia Vergara's from, for years in Barranquilla. So because Colombia has its own version of the White House. I'm gonna ask Andrea when she gets back to send me a photo of the Colombian version. I might be able to look it up. Colombia has its own version of the White House that all presidents stay in. This president will be the first president that is going to do most of his business from the Atlantic coast area, which is Cartagena, Barranquilla, Santa Marta area. So shout out to them out there as well. This president is definitely making his fingerprint known. Shout out to El Him again. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's from Barranquilla. And I heard about that too. And a lot of people were okay. A lot of people are okay with them doing that. And then a lot of people are traditional. And they're like, why don't you think you're too good for Bogota? Type of thing. But either way. Okay. I wonder why it's so low for me. Okay. Let's change the music up because we need to get started. Let's change the music up because we're about to get started. And shout out to my brother Ronan Travers. He had him and Fearless had a live stream last night. And I can't lie, I had to apologize to Ronan last night because I was up late last night, couldn't sleep, and I was trolling. I wasn't trolling Ronan or Fearless. Shout out to those brothers. But I was trolling one of their guests. And one of their guests is the white boy Rob. And we've seen white boy Rob do on TikTok and I'm not on TikTok, but on Instagram, doing his Medellin videos, right? And he's the white guy that acts like a Karen everywhere. You know, every time you turn around, he's got something to say about the passport bros. He's never talked to one. He's never interviewed one, but he considers passport pookies to be passport bros as well, right? And he thinks that he's come down here since he's gotten married and they got a shorty, a kid, that he's the new face on the block and he knows all the rules of Colombia. Hasn't been in many places of Colombia except for maybe, you know, Medellin, which he's always talking about, which is nothing wrong with that. But it made me think about how when I am at the point, and I know a lot of you guys are at the point with your travel, you find yourself to be more racially free, and you refuse to let any white boy, Latin boy, Spanish dude, brother, anybody, Uncle Tom, come and interrupt the racial freedom that you've acquired since leaving the United States, Canada, UK, the West. And I'll tell you what I mean. You're not going to let any white dude come down to Colombia and talk to you the way that they could when they were back in the States. No Latin dude is going to talk to you greasy. You're not going to let any white dude come down here and think his dollars are worth more than your dollars. We all got pesos. You're not going to let any white dude ever again feel that he can treat you like driving while black. And since you have that freedom, you refuse to give it up. And I know I do. So when I see white guys like Rob who talk like Karens, who are in other people's business, I ignore them, first of all, because I have my racial travel freedom. But most of all, I see them come and I see them go. There's always a new Rob that will crop up every few years who thinks that their whiteness gives them a blank check to talk about subjects that they know nothing about, such as the passport bros, such as black men and black women traveling, such as how we should be, when for the most part, many of the problematic behaviors that take place on a global basis are usually white dudes. Whether it's white Russian dudes, white French dudes in the Philippines or in Thailand, whether it be white PDFs here in South America trying to take little boys and little girls, it's mainly the white man. The white man. But instead of addressing the white man, these Karens come down here and they try to interrupt your racial freedom. In other words, racism is globally. Everywhere you go, there's some form of racism, some form of glance, some form of slight remark. But it is nothing, and I mean nothing, like when you live in the West. That's true, your life is on the line racism. And so once again, this episode is dedicated to let you guys know, for many of us, we have racial freedom. Yeah, we can go to Italy and there's a little snide look, or we can go to Germany and there's a little under their breath statement. But for the most part, we ain't seen Germans pull us over while driving while black. I ain't heard too many people in France lynching like they do in the United States now. I haven't heard too many brothers that have come up missing because they was hanging out with Italian friends. But I keep hearing brothers coming up missing when we hang out with friends in Texas, the white boys. Now, this episode is not us versus them. It's not black versus white, because there is no extreme on either side. But I am here to say this to the Robs and to all you white dudes out there, to all you Asian dudes and even Latin. Once we left the United States, there is nothing that you can do other than our lives being on the line to interrupt the racial freedom that many of us have acquired after we've started traveling. You can't coerce us. Like Rob says, I'll box you, I'll smack you, I'll get you, black men. That doesn't move us. See, if we were in the States, stuff like that would offend us. Outside the States, white boys, we don't give a damn about what you're talking about. They'll steal your kidney faster than they'll steal mine. They'll hustle you in another country faster than they'll hustle me. They look at you as an ATM, and in most countries, I blend right in. So once again, this episode is dedicated to encourage you, men and black women, to realize white people don't have that type of power over you anymore when you start to travel. Now you can pick and choose which white people you want to be around. In the United States, you couldn't pick and choose which one you want to be around. Why? Because he was your boss. He was your neighbor. He was the one that had all the jobs. He was the one that was selling you a home. He was the one that was your plumber, right? Your electrician, right? Your mail person, right? Now, through travel, you have the right to pick and choose which white boy you want around you and which white boys you don't. That's racial freedom. You have the right to hear a white boy say something racial and it's on social media. You can cut your phone off and they got to see another white boy all day long, all week long if you don't want to, depending on the country. That's racial freedom. You can be in Thailand and purposely only be around Thai people. That's racial freedom. And when they talk, you just let them talk, because they can't afford to talk to you and treat you the way that they did and take from you the way that they did back in the West. So for all the brothers and sisters, y'all still on the plantation, y'all want to stay there, y'all got to deal with the white man and a white woman, have fun with that. But I'm here to tell you today, you're going to be mad if you watch this episode. So all you plantation bros and plantation sisters, I recommend y'all leave this live stream, because this live stream is dedicated to all the brothers and all the sisters who have discovered racial freedom through travel. Racial freedom through travel. Shout out to my brother, Black Nubian, in the building. Let's show some love to them Canadian brothers.
I told this guy where I was from. He said, oh, Canada.
And once again, this episode is not about black and white. It is not about race itself. It's about black people themselves realizing there is a benefit that you get when you relocate and travel to other countries. Cost of living, yes, it's better. Medical system in other countries, hell yes, it's better. Don't y'all ever let somebody try to convince you that America only has the best medical system. It has a great medical system in the United States. It's just too expensive to take advantage of the medical system in the United States. Too expensive. The strength of the dollar, yes. Geo arbitrage, take advantage of it. But another thing that hasn't been spoken, and I'm going to speak on it tonight, is the racial freedom that you have. Like I said, I don't know how they treat the African brothers. I'm not African. I don't know how they treat the Caribbean brothers. Hey, I'm not Caribbean. I'm not Haitian. But as an African and an African American or a Black American, I can tell you this: when I travel, I have more freedom to be American than I do back in the United States. And one of the ways I have this freedom is that the white man no longer can say what he wants to say, spew what he wants to spew about me, my co-workers, my community. I don't give a dang about what he says, because I am in other countries and I can just cut the white man off with the click of a phone. Shout out to all you guys in the building. Let me scroll down, make sure I got everybody. I think I got everybody. We're about to get started. We got 51 people in the building. Shout out to Bobby Coltrane once again. He say turning in from Aruba. Shout out to you over there by the ABC Islands, Aruba, Barbados, and Curacao. Yes, sir. He said, I'm saying the women from South America and the island. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Excuse me, gentlemen. Don't forget about the women of the islands in the Caribbean. Yes, sir. Shout out to my brother Chill Capo in the building. Much love to them Vegas men. Shout out to you, brother. Hope everything's going well with you this evening. Shout out to my brother Drew in the building. He said they address everyone. Screaming accountable behavior in the live. Yeah, I had fun, man. I had fun. I kid you not. I was laughing. Who was that? Love crossing borders? Why, I'll smack you. I was like, man, listen. I'm not the brothers in the States that get emotional over what white men have to say anymore. I love my white brothers. I kid you not. I was telling I'll talk to Mariah Sincere today. My first two closest friends was white dudes in Detroit. Remember, I'm a nerd dude. It wasn't too many black nerd dudes. I'm an artist, an oil painter as a teen. I was collecting stamps and comic books. It wasn't too many black nerd. It wasn't cool to be a nerd among the black community. So the only nerds I knew that collect comic books and action figures and did artwork and collected stamps and you know, and baseball cards and football cards was my nerdy white dudes. So my first few friends was some white dudes. So I'm here in Colombia. I'm normally the only black guy in many spaces. Because most of y'all only hang out in Medellin or, you know, in the big cities, so you don't go anywhere else in Colombia. No offense, you don't go anywhere else in Colombia. So I'm usually like the only brother there. I might see like one or two brothers. Like if me and Andre go to an all-inclusive resort, y'all don't be going to no all-inclusive resorts, so I don't never see y'all. I'll see like every once in a while I'll see an Afro-Colombian that's not working, that's part of, you know, him and his family are there. But for the most part, I would easily say 80% of the places I've gone to, I was the only brother. I was the only brother. Now, maybe I go to places that most Afro-Colombians can't economically afford. That might be it. But when it comes to races, I don't care about races, man. I really don't care about that. But as far as racism, oh man, I ain't about to sit up here and feed to no white dudes, man. I don't feed to white dudes at all. Them days are over. I am 58 going on 59 in the company. I don't give a dang what a white dude say. I don't even live in the United States. I don't care what Trump, all them dudes. I don't trip on what the people gotta say. Wait, okay, y'all think I'm bad now. Wait until I get my citizenship next year. I'm already eligible. Wait, you think I talk? Shh. I dual citizenship? That means I don't have to lean on one country and I got to lean on one president and I ain't got to worry about if this president gonna take this and he gonna cause me to do. I ain't got to work. Man, listen. Y'all think I talk reckless now. Dual citizen, 2 passports. Okay. Shout out to my brother Pharaoh Ismail. He said, thank you so much for making this video because FBA, Foundation of Black American A-holes, aren't preventing my love for Latinas, absolutely correct, and Asian and African women, absolutely correct. And that's another thing. You can date and marry who you want when you have racial freedom in your mind through travel. If you want to be with a woman that's 100% Filipino, you can. That's racial freedom through travel. If you want to be with a sister from Africa and not an African-American sister, that's racial freedom. If you want to be with a woman from Brazil or Japanese Brazilian, you can. That's a part of the benefit of travel, that racial freedom to date and be with who I want to. If I want to be with somebody from Poland, if I want to be with somebody from Norway, and the Norwegian women are all over you, be with them. You can do it. It's not like the States or Canada where people give you the side eye or criticize you. Don't nobody care. It is not that serious, man. Get all this international coochie you want, bruh. Do not be discouraged by what these white Karens have to say about what you do with your passport. They think, like, once again, brothers like Rob, white dudes like Rob, actually think because they were able to open up their white mouths in the States and give their white opinion in the States, that once they use their passports, people are supposed to care what white Americans have to say. Got news for you. Whiteness as an American only works in America. You can't come to Colombia as a white man and tell these Colombians what to do. You can't go to Brazil and tell the Brazilians as a white man what to do. That whiteness only works in the States. I'm gonna tell you, white boys, you ready? If I was white, I wouldn't leave the United States. Now, I ain't going to Europe. I ain't going to Iceland, Poland. I ain't gonna discover nothing. I will let black people discover all that. I ain't jumping in no ocean. the best place on the planet to be. It's like Disney World when you white and you live in Canada and you live in Australia. When you live in Western Europe, UK, man, it's Disney. But when you leave the West, ain't nobody trying to hear you. And that hurts the feelings of dudes like Rob and all these other white dudes. Instead of blending in with all the other cool white dudes and all the other cool black dudes and all the other cool Asian and Latin dudes, that all of us that get along, instead of blending in with the rest of us, instead of blending in with all the other cool white dudes, they come to these other countries and try to act like Karens and don't realize ain't nobody listening to you. Ain't nobody, you can't threaten us no more. Why, I'll just, if I ever saw you, I would, bruh, dude, you ain't in the States. Rob, you are not with Jeb and them. See, when you was in the States, you were with Jeb, Earl, see what I'm saying? Bobby Joe. You know, y'all live in y'all community of uncle, mom, aunt, dad, sister married to your cousin, married to your pa, married to your mom, married to your brother. That's y'all in the States. You can get away with it being a white man, and I got you, my brother. I got you. Only one problem, Rob, and all you Karens out there, you ain't in the States no more. That means black people that travel don't gotta listen to your bullshit no more. We don't live in the States, so y'all don't pay our paychecks, so we ain't gotta listen to you. You're not our police in these new countries, so we ain't gotta listen to you. See, in the States, you was our boss, right? For the most part. So we had to listen to you to get a paycheck. You regulated television and movies. So if you wanted to go to a movie or if you wanted to go watch television, it was like 89% white. So, okay, cool. When it came to policing, every time you got pulled out by a police officer, 9 times out of 10, it wasn't just a brother, it was always a white officer. We ain't got to deal with none of that. If I get pulled over in Colombia, ain't no white officer pulling me over. It's a Colombian. It's a Colombian. If I turn on the television right now, it's Brazilians, it's Venezuelans on my television screen. I ain't got to ever see a white movie ever again if I don't want to. A white television show ever again if I don't want to. I turn on the television in Colombia to look for a white man. I got to go to the Discovery Channel. Let me go to the Discovery Channel. I got to go to the Discovery Channel to discover a white man. I think some of you white dudes don't realize when travel takes place, you become the endangered species, not us. You are the minority on a global basis. We're the majority, as black and brown people are the majority. You don't appraise if I go to buy a piece of property right now in Colombia or right now in Thailand or right now in the Philippines, it ain't no white dude walking up on me talking about I'll be your realtor. No, if I'm in the Philippines, I want a Filipina or Filipino to be my realtor. If I'm in Thailand, I'm gonna have a Thai realtor. If I'm in Kenya, I'm gonna have a black Kenyan realtor. If I am in Brazil, I'm gonna have a Brazilian realtor. I ain't got to deal with you no more, white man. Travel gave me racial freedom. I can literally pick and choose when, how many, and who as a white person I'm gonna be around. I can literally say, today I don't want to be around a white person. I don't want to see a white person. I don't want to be bothered with a white person. Why? I live in Colombia. Or I could say, you know what? Let me call up some of my white partners, man. Let me hang out with my white boys, man. Them cool partners, man. I got a couple cool partners in my phone. Let me go hang out with my boy. And I can hang out with them. Bad choice. It's not thrusted up on me all day, every day, like in the States. And I know I sound a little racist when I make these statements, but what I'm doing is encouraging people of color to realize Once you leave the West, you are not the minority like they try to sell it to you. You are the majority. You were the majority in the States, but they tried to sell it to you, and they sold other races like those from India. Hey, you're white too. No, you're not. Because them same people that you write on the application, I'm white too. Go on into their neighborhood if you're from India. Move into their neighborhood, you from India, and see what happened. See how many 7-Eleven jokes they got for you. See how many jokes if you're from India, and because you just write down on the voting thing, I'm white. See how many curry jokes they got for you. See how many jokes they got for you. Talk about how bad you smell and your food smell. They just trick you into the whiteness, but you ain't white. You more like us in color. You browner than us. You got a brownish red tone. I'm telling you guys, I am here to encourage you, to let you know you have a racial. If you don't think that relocating and traveling that has nothing to do with racial freedom, bruh, you ain't traveled yet. The freedom you get when people start looking at you like you an American and not just black. That's racial freedom. Some of y'all will live and die never knowing what it's like to feel like an American. What are you talking about, Dre? 4th of July, President's Day, our ancestors, I feel like an American. No, you don't. Anybody that's ever traveled in these comment sections can tell you, you ain't never felt like an American, especially as a black man or a black woman, until you leave America. Everywhere you go, they point, that's the American. Ain't nobody pointing at you, that's the black guy. That's the black guy. That's the black guy. No, they're like, wait a minute. He black, but go on, let him in. He American. Go on, let him in. Go on, let African dude, y'all stay out here. Sorry. You American. Come on in, American. Come and bring your dollars too. Come on, American. Now, can you get scammed as an American, just like the white boys? Yes. So people do have that stereotype about you as an American, just like they do the white boys. So we do have to watch out for that part. But I kid you not, man, I love feeling like an American. I never knew that this existed. White people have, yes, they have every day from birth. They stamped them with red, white, and blue. Us, we get stamped with our race. Asian, that's it, till the day you die. Black, till the day you die. Indian, till the day you die. Latin, till the day you die. We will never call you American. White dudes, they got giant flags off of their Jeeps, and they got the American flag everywhere, and they just floating, and we love America. They got the Confederate American flag. We American, can't nobody stop us. We American. I was a sniper for 20 years. I'm American. White boys get to feel American every day of their life. That's why they talk the way they do to us fellow Americans, because we are never told that we are just as American as the white man and the white woman. And one of the reasons why black people are told or encouraged not to travel, because soon as you leave the West, you get treated like an American. And the last thing, the white man in America wants you to be treated as one of them, an American. You don't want to hear all that. They don't want you to know all that. He said, not all at all. Not all. He said, not all white men on the race biasness ish. Absolutely correct. I agree with that 100%. I would even say not majority of black, not majority of white, not majority of Asians or Latins. Not majority of people are walking around with a racial chip on their shoulder. I'll easily say that. The people in our races that walk around with that racism chip on their shoulder make the rest of us look bad. They make the rest of us look bad. So I could 100% concur with you, Rent Do 22. Most white people ain't walking around with a racial chip on their shoulder. But here's the other part. Most white people, they go tell you in the United States that they benefit from racism without having to be a racist. If Jay Fleming, shout out to Jay in the building. If Jay said, he said, this dude out here threatening people now. Yeah, man. It was funny last night. If Jay told me, he said, Dre, I owned a Corvette and I won't buy you a Corvette, but I'll get you lessons to know how to drive a stick shift on that level. It's like, okay, cool. Jay is showing me, steps to be like him, a Corvette driver, right? He's opening up doors for me. He's not holding me back. Do I not benefit from Jay already knowing to be a Corvette driver if he's going to be showing me how to drive a Corvette? I didn't have to purchase the Corvette, right? To benefit from Jay showing me how to drive a Corvette. Most whites in the West do not have to be racist at all. You can just sit back with your smoothie and a lemonade and you can get along with all the cultures, all the people, love God. I mean, you could just, in the West, man, being white is the best. You know why? Because you still benefit from those who are willing to remain under and showcase racist behavior. You think I'm lying? You could be a white dude sitting back with a glass of gin, which is just water right here. Get your home appraised for $447,000. You ain't done nothing racist to nobody. That exact same appraiser in the exact same neighborhood will appraise a Latin family's house $282,000. You ain't did nothing racist to them Latin people. You ain't did nothing wrong to them Latin people. Those are your neighbors. You get along with them, right? But you still benefit from racism. So when white people sit back and say, y'all still talking about slavery, you still benefiting from slavery. You want us to stop talking about it? Stop benefiting from it. Y'all still talking about Jim Crow, you still benefiting from red lighting and Jim Crow and neighborhoods that were cut off from black people. Y'all still talking about the GI Bill, where we were able to buy houses in the suburbs and black people weren't able to use the GI Bill once all those black men and women came back from the wars? You still crying about the GI Bill? Of course. Okay, stop using all the government bills that you were able to take advantage of and build businesses and communities in the suburbs. See, it's easy to talk about stop doing it when you've already benefited from it. But hey, I'm not here to talk about what's going on in the States. Whether blacks or whites or Asians benefit in the state, y'all know me, I don't care. Tonight's topic is to encourage minority groups to travel and for once in your life, experience what it's like to not have to look over your shoulder if you are driving. If you see sirens in the background, they ain't coming for you. They ain't coming for you. To experience that one time, to sit in first class and ain't nobody bothering you and looking at you crazy like you don't belong here. To sit back and realize that when you experience a little bit of racism in Italy, somebody say something slick, that doesn't equate to all the great times you had in Italy and all the Italian coochie you done smashed. I'm gonna tell you something now. If I was single and I had a choice, 3 Italian dudes at 3 different times said something racist to me, right? And you talking about if Andre was single and I was in Italy, let's say 3 Italian dudes at 3 different times said something slick. And I've been breaking the back off of these Italian chicks the whole time I'm there. Man, I don't give a damn about what them 3 Italian dudes had to say. I'm running rampant through Venice. I am destroying coochies in Rome. I got chicks all just bent over the Colosseum, just bent all over the Colosseum. I'm just beating back Italian coochies. You think I care about what them 3 racist white dudes had to say? I've been in Italy for a year and a half, beating up on every Italian. I probably got 5 Italian kids in that year. You think I care about what 3 jealous Italian dudes got to say in Italian? Sometimes you got to weigh what's going on. Sometimes you got to, if I'm in Poland as a single man and I am beating the brakes off of them blonde, blue-eyed, statuesque, tall Polish chicks and 3 Polish dudes, and within a span of a year said something slick, I will take that slickness to beat up the backs of them Polish chicks. I got one cooking for me, one doing that for me, another one doing this for me, and I'm supposed to cry because 3 Polish dudes said something. I wish I would. I wish I would. I wish I would. I wish I would go to Thailand or China and I'm beating up all these Chinese chicks' coochies and 1 or 2 Chinese dudes had something slick to say. I wish I would go to Japan and I'm breaking the backs off of these Japanese chicks. And 3 or 4 Japanese dudes had something to say in a span of 2. I wouldn't give up. Are you crazy? I wish the hell I would, man. Please, y'all got Andre all the way up. That's what racial freedom is. That you refuse to let a few incidences dictate the whole circumference of your enjoyment in each one of these countries. I wish I would. Man, I'm sitting up there just breaking the Italian coochie in. I got them bent all. I'm in the Colosseum where they used to just throw the lions to the Christians. Now she throwing it back. You see what I'm saying? I got Italian chicks throwing it back in the Colosseum. We ain't got no business even being in the Colosseum smashing. I wish I would. David says this. He said, I'm so confused. So men are trying to play tough on YouTube. Now people have a false sense of safety behind a keyboard. Times have changed so much, huh, Rob? Times have changed. And this is not a Rob thing. I'm not coming at that. He's just another content creator. I've seen him come. I see him go. He'll be gone in about a year and a half and nobody will think about him again, right? And I'm literally have seen content creators come and go since I've been here. So it's not a Rob thing. It's a us thing. I just want to celebrate us in the racial freedom that many of us have compared to what we were experiencing back home in the West. Shout out to T-Mac in the building. He said, I only fly first class. He said, when it's available. He said, I love it when white people get all nosy and assume that you don't belong there. Unfortunately, Colombia only has premium economy. That's true. That's true. Yeah, man. Whenever we fly far, we fly in first class every time. I ain't gonna be in the back. No. Shout out to my brother. See, cool white dude. My brother Florida Gator in the building. 313 boys.
We in Tampa. 813. Trigger City. Let's get it.
Florida Gator says with the $10 love. He say, Dre, like the man said a few months ago, not all people white people feel the same way. I 1000% agree with that. I don't even feel like that. It's not even about how white. I'm going to read the rest of your comment. For me, it's not even about how white people feel, or Latin people feel, or Asian people feel. For me, Andre, personally, I love networking and hanging out with everybody. There is no one culture for me. I'm gonna say something that may be a little controversial. I'm gonna come back to you in a second. I am not one of those brothers that can only hang out with black people all the time. Most black people in the States are like that. You get off work and the only people you around after work is black folk. There are white folks that are like that. You get off work, the only people you around are white. That's not Andre. I love learning from other cultures, other communities, different people. I like my neighbors to be of all different ages, all different stages. I like my music to be of all races. I'm a 70s, 80s, 90s child. So I'm listening to hard rock as much as I'm listening to hip hop. I'm listening to pop music just as much as I'm listening to rave music. I've always been diverse. So I would feel, in all sincerity, as a black man, the type of black man that I am, I would feel uncomfortable if I'm around only black people for 20, 30 years, never being around any other race, not learning about other cultures, other foods, other music, that would drive me crazy. Hey, sexy boo. How was church? All right. Oh, that's what's up. So I am probably the dude that's like, how people say I'm the least racist. Nah, I ain't gonna say I'm the least racist, but I ain't out there like that, man. I'm cool. I've always got along with everybody. Plus, when I was single, I was smashing everybody's ladies. The Indian dude couldn't keep his lady. I'm gonna smash her. The Native American dude couldn't keep. I'm smashing. Black women, no women were safe from me. See, some dudes like, my black queens, only Dr. Umar. If it ain't the queen, it ain't no thing. I'm not me. Bring all the snow bunnies. Bring all the snow bunnies from Australia, from Germany. Bring me all the snow bunnies from Austria. That wasn't me. I bring them up. Bring Umar. Who bring over here? That was me. That was me. So when I talk about racial freedom, I'm talking about the freedom from being able to be dictated by a system that is set up to hold you back economically, spiritually, emotionally, and socially. I get to dictate who I'm going to be around. Let's put it like this. I have the same passion for Pookies that I have for racist white boys. I don't care if Pookie is black. I don't want to be around him. There's nothing about Pookies that you'll never see Andre say, man, hey, I'm gonna hang out with these YNs. I'm not hanging out with no YNs. That's disrespectful. That don't know how to act like they got sense when they travel. I am the exact same way. I ain't got no cut for YNs, and I ain't got no cut for no racist white boys. And I ain't got no cut for no Karens. And I ain't got no cut for no Keishas. I don't hang out with Keishas when I travel. I don't hang out with Karen. Why? Because I have the freedom to dictate who's going to be around me and who won't. Whereas when I was in the States, you really don't have that. You don't have that choice. You got a Keisha, she might be your coworker. You might got a Karen as your landlord. You might have a racist white boy that's the bus driver or the person that's repairing your car. You may have a YN breaking your house. You can't get away from certain people. But when you travel, I'm telling you, boy, the freedom that you get when you travel And you ain't got to deal with knuckleheaded people no more. You get to dictate which white boys you want to be around, which white women you want to be around, which black men you want to be around, which black women, Latin women. You get to choose what type of people you want in your life by way of travel. And you get to alleviate all the other knuckleheads. I love having this choice. If I had known that this choice existed, man, I'd have left the United States at 12. I'd have been gone at 12 years old, man, with my paper route money. I'd have took my paper route money and would have left, gone somewhere. Believe you me, I love having this ability to pick and choose what type of personalities I want to have around me. No. I'll say no. I can order those by mistake. Actually, I left you some fish in there if you want it. Okay. All right, Miss Chicken Breast. He said, Dre, like the man said a few moments ago, not all white people feel that way, but also you have people in your own community that tell you race that they are not Americans because of their race. And this is why I don't even hang out with those people. The people that try to act like that we aren't Americans, no matter what race we are, those are the type of people I avoid when I travel. See, sometimes I got to be stuck with them because I'm in the States. But when I travel, I ain't got to be around people that try to deny the beauty of being an American. I love being American. I love our country. I love our history. I love the ups and downs, the ins and outs, all that we've all overcome, the learning curve that we're still in the middle of as a country. I love being American. So when certain black people sit back and be like, well, we ain't but I ain't trying to hear all that. Well, you know, the original name of America was, before it was America, it was called. I hear all that, bruh. I got you. But as for me and my family and my passport, I'm American, bruh. I ain't trying to go that deep into the history of the country back when it was ran by the Native Americans. I understand that. But I'm American, dude. And ain't nothing you can do about it. You know, so I'm with you, Florida Gate, on that one. He said, I think all of us Americans should lift up each other, absolutely correct, and make all people from America feel like Americans. I 100% agree with that, but it doesn't happen. I agree with you, brother, but it doesn't happen. Florida Gator, you my dude. This is one of those shoe on the other foot scenarios for you. You know, you sit back, you could make the statements, and I agree with you. But if you've ever been black on the plantation of America, you are not looked upon. You're not. If you've ever been Latin, nobody talks to you like you're an American. They talk to you like you're Latin. Nobody in America talks to you like you are American. They talk to you like you're black. Everything on television reminds you that you're black. Everything. Your own community as a black person reminds you you're black. Wake up in the morning, you're black. The music you listen to is black. Hey, that actor who won that Oscar, he's black. He's the first black. She's the first black. You're reminded all the time of your race. And as soon as you leave America, everybody wants to talk about your nationality, in which you never got a chance to celebrate. But if you're a white dude, you were born and raised celebrating, and everybody celebrated your Americanness, so you can't relate. It sounds far-fetched. Like, what do you mean, Dre? Yeah, when you're born and raised white, and you get a chance to learn white history all day long, you don't get a chance to learn much of black history or Latin history. 87% of all television shows and commercials, which we saw growing up, was a white person or white child. You've always been thrusted into your Americanness. The only way a white dude can sit back and say that he's not American in America, he literally has to stand there and deny it. I'm not American. Everybody looking at you like, man, if you don't shit up white dude, you are American. Why? Because your whiteness is celebrated all the time. We have to leave the country to be appreciated for our Americanness, not for our blackness, not for our history, not for our Latinness, but we have to leave America to be treated like Americans. And that's a dang shame. And so I agree with you. We should lift each other up. But once these cameras go off and everything, Americans only lift up white Americans. We don't lift up other races of Americans. We don't. We never have. We never have. We never have. To where we're all programmed now to talk about race in America. And that's one of the freedoms that I love that I have. I can come to other countries and hang out with Florida Gator and we just having fun. We're two Americans. People gonna see us sitting there having beers. Hey, those guys look like they're Americans. Nobody's sitting there talking about there's a white dude and a black dude sitting there having beers. No, they'll look over and say those are two Americans. And I love that. But if you and I were having a beer in the United States, they look over and say there's a white dude and a black dude having a beer. There's nothing that they will say about our Americanness in America. That's the sad part. That's the sad part, that we all have to celebrate our Americanness, like you just said, but we got to do it outside of America together. Shout out to International Quiet Storm in the building. He says this. He says, first class always. He said, I love getting weird looks from white folks. Me too. I ain't gonna lie to you. He said, I smile. Me too. And when they ask, what do you do for work? Because that's an American thing. He said, tell them. I said, I tell them. He said, I tell them a regular middle class Morican. You know, just, hey, I'm just a regular guy. I'm just a regular guy. Your Rents Due 22 is in the building once again. Shout out to you, brother. For $10 love, he says this. He said, Dre, I remember hearing guys say they cried when they got back. I did. Guys, me. Got back on the plane to the man. I boo-hoo like dude. I'm saying, you know how men do the cool cry. Guess I'm on my way back to the States. And then when you really get to the States and you in customs and you really not trying to cry. I'm good. You pass them your passport and they say, welcome back to America. You get your passport and you be thinking to yourself like, is it just me, or when I got into customs in the United States, I was trying to come up with a plan on how to get the hell out of the United States? I kid you not, I hadn't even made it back. My trips, I hadn't even made it back into the United States. I am literally plotting my next trip while I'm on the plane and when I'm walking through customs going into the United States. I ain't even got back home into the country yet. It felt so good to feel like an American. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna say something that most guys have never said. To go back to feeling like only black, I didn't want that feeling. I didn't like it. As much as I love being black, as much as I love being from America, I loved being and enjoying my nationality and not just my ethnicity or race. In America, I spent 50 years enjoying my ethnicity and race. I got a chance finally to enjoy my nationality, finally. Now I got to go back to just being just a regular black dude. Just a regular black dude. Just walking to a Walmart. I'm a regular black dude. Just going to work. I'm just a regular black dude. Just driving down the street. Up, the police pull me over. Why? Because I'm a regular black dude. Up, I got some type of racial comment from a Karen. Why? Because I'm a regular black dude. My house didn't get appraised for how much the white guy's house is. Why? Because I'm a regular white dude. Got back to the States and I was just a regular white. Not regular white dude, but a regular black dude. I'm just a regular black dude. Nothing special. Our ethnicity and my race is what everybody celebrated for 50 years. And so when I got a chance to celebrate my nationality, I won't lie, I loved it. And to this day, I love it. I love feeling like an American. Nobody calls me Black American. Oh, he's a Black American. No. Even if I'm in a Black neighborhood, I'm still treated as American here in Colombia. They ain't looking at me like, oh, that's a Black brother. That's American. They look at me like, oh, he Black, but he American. And some of you guys can relate to what I'm saying. If you go to any Black neighborhood in Brazil, they still gonna look at you like, oh, he a brother, but he from America. He's American. They're not celebrating because you Black to see you, hey, American. And I love it. I won't lie. I love the fact that people celebrate my Americanness. I love the fact that, I'm gonna tell you something else. I love the fact that people are discovering Black, Latin, Asian Americans. Some of you guys are going to Thailand and they didn't even know that there were Black Americans other than like Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Kobe Bryant, Prince, couple of Marvel movie characters. How many times have y'all heard that people in the Philippines say, I thought Americans were white? Why? Because America only celebrates white America. Right? So I love the fact that when we go to these other countries, they get a chance to discover, hold up, wait a minute, there are other races of Americans to celebrate. And they are so happy to ask us about America from the Black perspective, from the Latin perspective, from the Cuban perspective, which is Latin, the Asian perspective of Asian Americans. People ask us about our recipes, not about white people chicken salad, chicken soup, or potato salad with the raisins in it. White people, please stop doing that. Stop putting raisins in your potato salad. And if you stop putting that damn celery in the potato salad, why are you chopping up big chunks of celery in the potato salad? They get to hear our recipes, Latin American recipes, Latin American songs and music, because they thought that America was just Quiet Riot and Bon Jovi and Vanilla Ice. I love it. I love that people are discovering America through other lenses. I love it. He said, so they cried when they're back to the U.S. He said it was not just because of the women, but also being treated right by the people there. I can say that absolutely correct. Florida Gator says this. Shout out to Florida Gator. He said, you're right, Dre. He said that will be the downfall of the states. He said that's why I'm leaving soon. Shout out to 813. He said, besides, brothers, I'm Black from the from the waist to my knees. Shout out to you, Florida Gator. I ain't mad at you, brother. and you know what? That's the part that I enjoy most of all. When I can sit down with anybody of any race in another country, and people walk past us and they see nothing but Americans. They notice our racial difference, our skin tones and things like that, but they can tell all of us just sitting there from how we talk, those are all Americans. And I love it, man. I love it. And until you travel, to you black men and Latin men travel, y'all will not be able to relate to anything I just said of the last 30 minutes. He said, quit letting those cats on the kitchen. Yes. White people, please. White people. Stop letting animals walk where you cook. Stop kissing your dog, your cat, your goats. Stop that. Go to Walmart, get some face towels. Stop washing the crack of your butt with your hand, white people. That's nasty. We love y'all. These are some black tips. I'm telling y'all, if y'all want the list of stuff, see, white people don't realize black people and Latin people got a list of stuff that we've been laughing at y'all about for centuries. Y'all want to make little monkey sounds, but all we got to do is, while y'all doing this to us, all we got to do is do this to y'all with some soap. Why you washing your body with your hand? Why you only take a shower twice a week? So while y'all got stereotypes and jokes about us, you better believe black people, Latin people, and Asian people, we got some jokes galore. Yeah, I bet y'all stereotypes can't keep up with our stereotypes. We got some jokes with the uncle moms and aunt dads. Jeb is married to his mama. We got some jokes. He said also is wash your leg. Oh my God. White people, y'all got the hairiest legs. Y'all accumulate the most dirt and dead skin and lint. How is it that when you got the most hair on your body, you do not wash your leg? You nasty mother. If you got the hairiest, I'm as a man, I've got hairy legs, right? Just as a man in general. So I know that I accumulate more dirt, dead skin, lint, whatever it is from exercising, dry skin, than probably a woman would, right? Who doesn't have as much hair. So I know I ain't gonna wash off all that with my hand. I need a loofah or a scrubbing towel to scrub that. I've heard white actors and actresses literally say, and I'm talking about some of my favorites. This is what blew me away. Not just regular actors and actresses, some of my favorites. In interviews, they do not wash their legs. I'm like, what? But you're in the Marvel movies. You're worth $300 million. You worth $300 million and you do not wash your legs? You nasty mother. You nasty mother. Y'all, oh my God, y'all nasty. I don't know what's nastier. Washing the crack of your butt with your hands and no towels, and then washing your face with that same hand, and then don't wash your legs because you're talking about the dirt runs down. So y'all don't think about dead skin, lint, dust mites, none of that, huh? Just funky legs. You be wondering what that smell coming from. It be just be your legs, huh? Ugh. And then no lotion. No, don't wash your legs. And he said, Dre, he said in Arkansas, they are not good with their own families, and they are no good for they're no good for ours. Man, listen. If they are no good for their own families, that they're no. That's a good way of putting it. If a person is no good for your family, then hey, no good for ours. Shout out to Ronan. Salute to you. Great live stream last night, brother. Great live stream. Your live stream was the inspiration for today's live stream. Once again, apologies. Apologies. Shout out to Aiken being in the building. Glad to see that you're here, brother. Right, get a washcloth. Goodness gracious. White people should be giving each other washcloths for Christmas. What is this, Daddy? Well, black people said we need to start washing our bodies. Huh? What do you mean, honey? Why are you talking like that to the children? It's Christmas Day. Why? These are what black people call and other Americans call, they call them washcloths. So these are not like miniature drying towels that we should just take 5 of them and just dry ourselves off. No, you're actually supposed. Well, how do you use one, Father? How do you use one? Well, son, let's go to Black YouTube because I don't know how to use a washcloth. So now you got white people on Christmas going to Black YouTube. Oh, well, son and daughter, you hold it in your hand. And you put the bar of, you got the water, get it wet. You actually get it wet before using it, Father? That's what Black YouTube said. You actually get it wet before you get it wet. And now you lather it up with, what's that? The soap that we usually put on our hand? You put it on a towel? Well, Black YouTube said that's how we're supposed to use it, son. This is confusing, Father. This is confusing. We are worth $100 million. We should not have to use washcloths. We should be like all other white rich people and be able to wipe our behinds with our hands and fingernails like we've always done. Sniff. Sniff, Father, sniff. Every culture in the United States use wash towels, but y'all. That's crazy. On this Christmas, I'm telling you, white people, give your kids the gift that keeps on giving. No batteries included. Wash towels. Give them like a stack of 10 wash towels and tell them these are not miniature drying towels, okay? Goodness gracious. We've been springing this for the longest, man. We've been like, come on, man. You ain't washing your legs, but you ain't washing your feet. Ugh. Hey. Hey, Florida. Hey, a lot of dudes sleeping on them Japanese wash towels. I got about 7 of them coming in the mail right now, bruh. Hey, Florida Gator. Yeah, a lot of dudes sleeping on them Japanese washcloths. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. I thought about it earlier while I was doing this little joke. But I'm with you, brother. Hey. A lot of dudes sleeping on them Japanese. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Guys, make sure you get you the Japanese towels. I kid you not, man. You'll thank me. You'll thank me and Florida Gator. Let's get started with the video.
Not every country is friendly to Black and brown people. If you live in the United States, you know that. You feel that. And the data supports that as well. The Othering and Belonging Institute at Berkeley University ranks the United States as 138th in terms of racial inclusiveness.
Do you know that's usually out of 180 countries? Usually when they do those type of surveys, it is out of 180 countries. When it comes to racial inclusiveness, the United States ranks 138? God dang. United States better not say ish about racism ever again. That's crazy. Don't be trying to tell us we've come so far. We've had a black president. Nobody trying to hear that. 138 out of 180 countries. We couldn't even crack the top 50. We couldn't even crack, as much as we brag. You would think America would be like in the top 25 countries when it comes to racial inclusiveness. 138? Dang. We racist on a whole nother plane. Let's bring that beat back.
Not every country is friendly to Black and brown people. If you live in the United States, you know that. You feel that. And the data supports that as well. The Othering and Belonging Institute at Berkeley University ranks the United States as 138th in terms of racial inclusiveness. That's everything from the laws that we have to the actual public sentiment towards people of other races. So it's no wonder that people of color are looking for a way out of the United States and trying to figure out how they can escape, especially in their retirement years. You've put in all this work and you're like, I don't want to retire in a country that hates me. Totally understandable.
What's up, everyone? Leroy Adams, founder and publisher of the Buddy Pass Travel magazine here. So I'm working on my next article for our premiere issue, one of the few articles that I get to write. And it really centers around the reasons why Black people in the U.S. are leaving to move abroad. A lot of Black folk are leaving the U.S. to move to places like Portugal. There are a lot of Black Americans in Portugal. Places like Bali, Thailand, Japan, Korea, China, various South American countries, Mexico, European countries, all over. And everyone will point to, well, racism, that's why we're leaving the U.S. And I've come to learn that's not the only reason why. You know, I've interviewed a lot of Black travelers and expats, and I've been very surprised to learn that racism isn't the only reason or the reason why we're leaving. For example, when I decided to first move abroad, it was really due to American capitalism. I wasn't down for the rat race. You know, I wasn't ready to devote my life to pursuing, wealth and material things. That wasn't for me at the time, and it still isn't. But I knew that very clearly in my 20s that I did not want to participate in the American rat race, capitalistic society. That just wasn't for me.
Movement had a price. Imagine packing your bags for a road trip only to be stopped and told you must pay a fee, just because of your skin color. During segregation, Black Americans faced a web of hidden travel costs designed to control their movement. Local governments and private businesses imposed extra tolls, travel permits, and even state fines on Black travelers, making every journey a challenge. In some southern towns, Black drivers were forced to buy special travel permits before crossing city lines. Roadside stops weren't just about safety, they were a tool for discrimination. Police could fine Black motorists for trivial reasons, and those unable to pay faced jail or worse. Even bus and train companies sometimes charged higher ticket prices for Black passengers. These fees weren't about revenue, they were about restriction. They sent a clear message. Freedom of movement was not a right for all. Black families had to plan routes carefully, carry extra wehan, and rely on networks like the Green Book just to avoid danger and financial traps. Freedom of movement was controlled. Follow.
The Negro Motorist Green Book helped keep African Americans safe when traveling during the Jim Crow era.
This book told you about hotels, restaurants, barbershops, and so many other things that you needed as an African American when traveling from state to state.
Victor Hugo Green, a postal worker, used a grassroots method to get his travel guide into circulation. Tapping his fellow mailmen to help reach a broader public, he also distributed via mail order, Black businesses, and media campaigns with the help of Esso gas station, known as ExxonMobil today. His partnership with Esso allowed him to distribute the Green Book at various gas stations, making it front and center for a key audience. Talk about genius marketing. Costing 25 cents, the first edition of this 15-page travel guide focused on New York City businesses that welcomed African American customers.
An ultra-modern pleasure highway, another great new advance in travel in the nationwide program.
State by state, this guide helped travelers maneuver with dignity
I thought the same thing, Florida Gator. Same thing.
and less fear.
Black people wanted to travel just like other Americans. They wanted to see the country. They wanted to educate their children. They wanted to see the national parks. They wanted to see the sights.
It's Black History Month, and instead of focusing on milestones or individuals, in this series, I want to talk about something that shaped everyday survival and still shapes our lives right now. I want to talk about how the simple act of travel has always been political for Black people in the United States. When we look at what's happening right now with ICE, it feels easy to think that we're witnessing something new, but we aren't. The idea that the state has the authority to stop, question, and demand proof that you're allowed to be where you are didn't just come out of nowhere. It has a long history. People are beginning to realize that citizenship in the U.S. is more conditional than they've been led to believe. We're watching U.S. citizens being stopped and asked to prove who they are in ways that go well beyond a casual ID check. And with immigration enforcement expanding its reach and the Supreme Court's recent rulings, a driver's license suddenly isn't enough, and your passport has become the only documentation that feels like it carries any kind of weight. The burden of proof lands on the individual profiled for the color of their skin or even their accent. For a lot of people, this feels new, but for Black Americans, this dynamic is very familiar. In the early 1800s, if you were a free Black person in the U.S., your freedom didn't just automatically travel with you. It had to be carried and proven on demand. These documents were called freedom papers. They were legal records stating that you were not enslaved and were recognized as a free person. In theory, that sounds pretty straightforward. In practice, it meant that your body was always one question away from captivity. And if you were stopped while traveling and you didn't have your papers, you could be arrested as a runaway slave. A free person could be pulled into bondage because proof of their freedom wasn't immediately accessible. In some cases, if no white person could vouch for you and no documentation could be produced fast enough, you could be sold back into slavery. These papers weren't even permanent protection. They had to be issued by courts and local authorities, and there were fees involved. Plus, there were clerks and officials who could question their validity. And if someone decided your papers looked suspicious or incomplete, the burden fell on you to prove it. There was an entire economy built around this process. You paid to prove, again and again, that you weren't someone else's property. So even as a free person, your ability to move through the streets depended on your ability to produce state-recognized proof of your status on command. At the same time, white Americans have always moved freely. They didn't need to carry any documentation. Their presence wasn't automatically suspicious, and their right to move was inherent. One group traveled as a matter of fact. Another traveled with papers in their pocket and the knowledge that those papers might not even be enough. What made those systems real was enforcement. Slave patrols were created to stop Black people in motion, question them, and decide whether or not they had the right to be where they were. After slavery, that authority didn't disappear. Black codes, vagrancy laws, and labor contracts hardened into formal law enforcement, carrying forward the power to interrupt Black movement, demand proof, and use detention as control. Jim Crow policing continued that pattern. Officers enforced racial boundaries, controlled where Black people could exist, and treated their presence itself as suspicious. The badge became another way the state decided who belonged and who could be stopped on sight. When you look at modern policing through this lens, the pattern comes into focus. Stop and frisk policies and database verification all operate under the same basic authority. The state can interrupt your movement, question your right to be present, and hold you in place while your status is examined. But for Black Americans historically and today, that authority has never just meant being paused or delayed. It's always carried lethal force and used without accountability. Policing in the U.S. grew out of systems built to control Black movement. And the same logic shows up today in the violence we're seeing on the streets right now. The Black community has lived with this truth for generations, where a demand for your papers can quickly become a demand for your physical submission. So when people say this moment feels unprecedented, what they're really feeling is exposure. Systems that have always been there are now visible to people who didn't have to see them before. For Black Americans, this moment has never been theoretical. When your movement can be questioned at any given time, you learn to move carefully. It influences where you feel safe traveling, where you choose to locate, and how you teach your children to move through public spaces and what tone of voice lowers their risk when dealing with law enforcement. Our freedom has always been something that has to be managed and sometimes negotiated in real time. The need to be prepared, have proof, and to anticipate being challenged has been woven into our everyday decision-making since the beginning of time. Understanding that history changes how the present looks. What feels shocking to some people feels familiar to others. And the sudden awareness that your life or your freedom could be taken in the blink of an eye is just old ground that new people are being forced to stand on. The real question isn't what documents you should carry. The deeper question is why movement has ever required proof in the first place, and why that requirement has never applied equally.
Black History Month isn't over yet, and neither is this conversation. In the next part of this series, I'll be talking about what happens when the state controls your ability to travel by taking your passport. Make sure you're following along so you don't miss it. And if you want to follow my work beyond this series, you can also find me on Substack.
What they also did was they wrote it in their constitution that no man could be a slave on this land. And so a lot of times when we think of the Underground Railroad, we think of the road only going north, but there's actually an Underground Railroad south, and Mexico is a part of the Underground Railroad. And Mexico has been a major supporter of Black liberation ever since for hundreds of years. Okay. And so for those who took the Underground Railroad south, crossed the Rio Grande, for most of the time it would be enslaved people from Texas and Louisiana, because logistically it would make more sense to go south as opposed to risking it.
They kind of get all the way to north, Canada,
right?
Someone left a comment on my Paris video, and I can't stop thinking about it. They said, and I quote, "We need a green book for international travel." Man, they're right. Because I've been racially profiled at 5-star hotels in Paris, at airports in Athens by airport staff, at a restaurant in Miami where the manager told me and my family to go eat fried chicken, even though there were a plethora of restaurants around. And I've just been holding these stories for years. I've been racially profiled as a father, as a husband, as a pilot, as a scholar, as a speaker, and I'm just not internalizing these stories anymore. I'm not staying silent anymore because somebody who looks like you is going through what you're going through at a hotel, at an airport, at a restaurant, and they need to know how to respond with grace, with strength, with their dignity intact. And so I'm building my own green book of sorts, not a pamphlet, but a series. Real stories, real responses. Starting this week, I'm sharing what happened to me in Athens by airport staff. Man, it shook me. I almost went to jail. I almost got put off of a flight. Almost ruined our family vacation. And so subscribe. This series is coming. I'm your friend, Dr. Manny Scott, and I'll check in with you later.
You are African. They still pull me out. My kids, I'm fighting today that my kids are not pulled out on random research. I have done so many random research, I can't count anymore. I sit on business class. They check my ticket. The plane is about to take off. They come back. Can I see your ticket again? Before I used to show them. Now I tell them, until you've seen every white person's ticket on this business class, you are not seeing mine. And I say it loud. I say it loud. You cannot be picking on me all the time.
Rating countries I've traveled to on how Black friendly they are. I'm always asked this question every time I visit a new country, so I guess it's time to do these ratings. Starting off strong with Thailand, 10 over 10. I've been here 3 times and I've loved it every single time. I've never had any racist encounters or attitudes. The locals are always extremely friendly and always helpful to me. France, 6 over 10. So I have a love-hate relationship with France. I do not like Paris at all. I've had racist experiences there and it always just rubs me the wrong way. I like Nice and Provence. Didn't have any issues there. Same as Bordeaux. Next is Italy, which is a 7 over 10. Now, I've seen a lot of negative experiences Black travelers have had in Italy, and I sympathize with them. I didn't really like Milan. I felt the men were very handsy, and in restaurants, they barely spoke to me, even when I would directly be speaking to them. In other towns like Positano, Capri, Venice, I had a much better experience than I did in Milan. Next is Georgia, which I've given 9 over 10. I loved Georgia. The only negative experience I had was at the airport, which I swear happened because we were Black. It did almost put a damper on my mood, but once I got into the country, I really had the best time. People were so friendly and nice and helpful and warm and just really the best. Next is Poland, which I give a 9 over 10. I had an amazing time in Poland. The people were quite friendly and also nice. Didn't have any racist encounters and neither was I treated weird at any point. There was only one incident which threw me off with a bartender, but it wasn't overtly racist, but quite subtle. If you enjoyed this and would like me to review more countries, do let me know in the comments.
Countries where I thought I would experience racism, but in fact they were lovely to me and I can't wait to go back. Disclaimer, I'm not saying these countries aren't racist. I'm saying that I personally did not experience racism in those countries. Number 1, Croatia. The people there are good vibes. They are so friendly, so willing to help, and just always down for a good time. Number 2, Italy, specifically Sicily. I held back on visiting Italy for a long time because I've heard some crazy stories. But Sicily is perfect because it's very multicultural. I blended right in, no racism. Number 3, Albania. Lovely, lovely people, and they're very funny as well. And I saw a lot of Albanian men with black girls. Number 4, Singapore. To be honest, I don't know why I thought I'd experience racism there. No one batted an eyelid at me. I think I stared at people more than they stared at me. Number 5, Slovenia. Was very pleasantly surprised with this one. People in the street just say hello and keep walking. Again, please don't flood my comments with, oh no, this country is so racist. I'm saying me didn't experience racism. If you experienced it, I'm very sorry.
Mexico. Before he goes in, the reason why I laid the foundation of that everybody's experiences are different, everybody's circumstances are different. Men experience certain things in each country differently than women do. Women, of course, have to be more guarded, and so they notice more of the little things when they're in another country compared to how men, we're too busy. Somebody say something slick to us, we really kind of like, if it wasn't super serious, we ain't gonna take it to heart. We're gonna keep it pushing. But if it is serious, then we're gonna take it there. But that's how men are in general, no matter what race, color, or creed. I just want to lay a foundation that all of us have different experiences. So when one person will sit back and say, when I was in this country, I went through this, that, and this. I've talked to guys that said I had a horrible time when I was in Italy. And I kid you not, sitting at the same table were other black men that said, man, I had a wonderful time in Italy. Man, I went to the big cities, small towns. We did this, me and my wife. So everybody, one thing I refuse to let happen, I will take advice on how to move around a city or country, but I will not let one person's experience dictate whether I'm going to visit that country or not. Now, if it's a slew of people saying certain things, okay. But for the most part, I'll listen to a person's story. I'll learn from their story, but I'm not going to let their one story dictate whether I go to Italy, whether I go to Germany, whether I go to France. I'm glad I went to France. We had a great time. We had no racial issues. We had no racial issues in Barcelona. We had no racial issues when we were in Madrid, in UK, and in other countries throughout Europe. We had no issues, but that's just my story and my experience. But I didn't let the stories of others dictate my story or my experience. In that quiet story, he said, I absolutely love Sicily. He said, the Amalfi Coast, Florence, Rome, Milan, Venice were absolutely incredible. IMF says this. He said, for IT bros, Thailand, LRT visa, foreign income comes to can be remitted to Thailand without Thai personal income tax requirements. Be employed by an overseas company while making a minimum of 80,000 income. That is winning right there. That is winning. AMSM said this. He said, if I'm in another country, he said, I'm trying to de-escalate every situation. Yeah, man. It really ain't that serious too much. Unless you really, really come up on me and physically try to harm me or my wife, I'm not moved by what people say as much as others are. Slide remarks don't. I kid you not. The N-word doesn't move me as much as it does other people. Because I know that let's put it like this. This person could take 5 seconds to say the N-word, right? Or while I'm out of the country. Let's say they did. But I've been in that country a month, and I've met hundreds of amazing, wonderful people. I'm not going to let this one person who used the N-word outweigh my experience of all the hundreds of people that I've met in my month of being in that country. I'm going to brag about that country, and I might not even bring up the N-word part. I'm going to say, man, y'all need to go to Italy because of this, that, this. We went here, and man, you got to check out this, you got to check out that. I may not even talk about that one incident. It's a small thing to a giant. It doesn't impact me economically, socially. In no way. I'll never see that person again in life. So I'm not one of those people to be. I'm like you, Quiet Storm. I'm not swayed easily when it comes to throwing out the racism card like that. That's just not me. Shout out to my brother AZ Marine in the building. He said, I lived in Naples, Italy for 5 years and had a ball. I could imagine, bro. That's a real nice area, really nice area of Italy. T-Mac says this. He said they tend to be more classist. Now me, if y'all want to get on my case about something, I'm a classist. I believe that you can either be born into certain classes or work your way up into most classes. Like I said, you could be born in certain classes that I know that I will never get into. I don't trip on it. But I know that there are certain classes that I could work my way. I give a perfect example. Perfect example. Some of you guys weren't here earlier. And I didn't get a chance to talk to Andrea about this. Of course, they're doing the inauguration for the president of Colombia tomorrow here in Cali, Colombia, at the Air Force Base. I'm in Chippy Choppy Mall. For all you guys that have been to Chippy Choppy Mall, you know exactly what I'm talking about. In the food court, T-Mac, check it out. There is a gigantic, like 30-foot statue of Michelangelo's David. You know, the butt-naked David with his balls hanging out statue, right? You walk in there, you're like, what the hell? Where did this come from? And then when you walk a little further, right in the heart of Chippy Choppy Mall, there's a gigantic blacked out tent, a giant tent. And it has the Michelangelo theme. And you like, something's going to go on in that tent, a concert, a show, something. And so I walk past it, right? I don't say nothing. I get back here, and because I'm a classist, and I've been in certain circles or certain classes, it hit me. I said, wait a minute. I recognize this. I've been to enough black tie dinners. I've been to enough fundraisers. I've been to enough political fundraisers or campaign events. They're going to have, after the inauguration, the dinner and celebration is going to be in Chippy Choppy Mall. They're going to shut this mall down. How do I know that? Because I've been to enough fundraisers and different award ceremonies that were inside of malls, that were inside of museums that were shut down. I've been into so many of those events, those black tie events, those bring your bow tie, some of those teacher of the year events, if you will, the NAACP award events, the fundraising events. So I recognize that. Now, if you are a regular class Colombian walking through, you just think it's a statue. Hey, okay, so it is. Oh, you're just thinking that, oh, that black tent is, oh, that's a black tent. a gigantic black tent. But when you walked in, and some of you guys can relate to what I'm talking about, but when you walked in certain circles, you recognize, they're gonna have, it's gonna be here. And you think to yourself, that makes sense. Chippy Chape Mall is only 1 or 2 floors. This area is just 1 floor. Okay. You can secure this area real easy with a bunch of dignitaries and presidents, and prime ministers that will be coming for the inauguration. Make it look, because they've got Chippy Chape Mall looking really nice, right? They bringing out all the bells and whistles. But when I saw that statue of David, I was like, something is up. When you are a person that's a classist, you realize if you want to be a part of certain levels of certain classes, you got to work your way up there. You got to make the connections. If you don't have to. You can stay on your class. And classes, what I like about being a classist is because you could be of any type of race and be of this class or of that class or of this class. And the highest classes, doesn't matter what race you are if you're not a part of certain families. So you could be the whitest of white guys, but if you weren't born with the right blue blood, you can't get in. And I'm willing to accept that. I wasn't born the right color and I wasn't born with blue blood. Therefore, there are certain levels of this game I'll never see. But I like classes. I like different classes. I won't even lie. Shout out to Casual Germ in the building. He said the white South African hotel owner tried to fool me into paying $90 for a broken chair. He said I verbally went off. He said went off and looked for the look on everyone's face. He said my friends had to tell him about my military background. His demeanor changed fast. Yeah, I'm one of those people that, yes, I'll get upset, but I'm not going to let it ruin my trip. I hope you didn't let it ruin your trip. I refuse to give people the authority to ruin my trip, even if I get upset. He said, I crashed a meeting with the governor's official in China because I knew it would get a nice, free, high-class dinner out of it. And went to an even with the vice premium of China or premier of China. He said, I just acted like I belong. I've been to those dinners as well, brother. He said, I used to go to events that didn't even have me on the list. I was so cool with all the secretaries, so they let me in anyway. I just complimented them on how nice they looked. Yes, when you look like you belong, I kid you not, take it from me. I've crashed a couple of them myself. Jermon said, plus I'm not the N-word. I just don't know any N-words. Right, I feel where you're coming from with that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But that's what they're doing with Chippy Chape. But like I said, an average person of average class wouldn't have noticed that. They would have noticed the statue and they would have noticed the giant tent and they'd be like, oh, that's nice. And kept it pushing. I knew they're going to do the presidential after party here in Chippy Chape Mall. That's what they're doing. International Quiet Storm said, this is why that Kevin Samuels video, You Belong There. I know exactly what you're talking about. You Belong There was one of his best. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Let's continue on with the video. Once again, everybody's experience is different.
You're a black person living in the USA. I think you're asking the wrong questions. Don't let the US propaganda get to you. We don't have sundown towns in Mexico. We don't have politicians constantly trying to gerrymander and redistribute district lines to diminish your vote. Mexico doesn't have Confederate statues in front of government buildings. Our second president ever was a black man. When did the US get their first black president? None of your neighbors in Mexico will ever call the police on you because you look suspicious. No police officer is ever going to pull you over here in Mexico because you match the description. Despite being a US citizen in the US, they will always treat you as a second-class citizen. I know that the USA has done you guys dirty for most of its history, but not every country is as messed up as the USA, guys. The worst thing that can happen to you here in Mexico is you get a stomachache because you had a great night with great food. But anyways, instead of asking, is Mexico safe to visit? Take a look around you. But anyways, what do I know? Let me know what you guys think. Why do black Americans keep asking me if it's safe to visit Mexico? You're a black person living in the USA. I think you're asking the wrong questions. Don't let the US propaganda get to you. We don't have sundown towns in Mexico. We don't have politicians constantly trying to gerrymander and redistribute
racism is all abroad. It's anywhere. You aren't going to escape it as a black person. Now, you are going to run into being treated maybe the first time as an American, and you're going to be like, that's different. What do you do with privilege that you inherently have, but never even got the opportunity to use it? Not like an opportunity, like it's good to use all your privileges. That's not saying that. I'm just saying you have never been given the American privilege that you have, because in America, you don't have it. So even though that you feel like you don't make a lot of money, you make maybe a lot of money in another country. You are able to afford things that you weren't able to afford, a lifestyle that you weren't able to afford. But are you going to act like the people that you despise when you're giving said privilege? Are you going to go and flaunt your money and flaunt your wealth?
It's a serious question, and I do understand where this comes from, especially with a lot of people never having been out of the United States. It's a general question that a lot of people tend to have, so I'm going to answer it right now. So when you ask, do they accept me here? It really depends on who you ask. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of different Spanish people or native people in Spain and Barcelona who would prefer tourists and people from other countries not come here. And I feel like that's the same everywhere. If you go to the United States, there are Americans who do not like immigrants. There are people who do not want anybody outside the United States in their country, in their state, whatever it may be. There are people in certain states in the United States that don't like each other and they're from there. Like, I'm from Texas. There are people from Texas who don't like people from California, who don't like people from New York, and don't even like people from other parts of Texas, and they're all in the same fucking state. So it really doesn't matter. So when you ask, do they accept me here? I would say for the most part, yes. Most people are super friendly. Most people have no problem with tourists. Most people don't have a problem with people of color for the most part. But you will come across certain instances where you might get a few stares or you might get a few looks, or, you know, if I'm walking alone or something like that, I can kind of tell that people look at me a certain way as if I don't belong here. And it's just something you get used to. And for me, like I said, being from Texas, being from the United States, and being an African American, and it's something that I have dealt with all my life. So I really don't notice it that much for the most part. Like, I'm having a good time, and it's not as blatant as it is in the United States in most cases. Now, sometimes I have heard stories of people getting turned down at restaurants, getting racially profiled, different things like that. I have yet to experience it. I've only been here a month, so I can't say for sure if it'll happen or if it won't happen, but I can say the time that I've been here, it's been pleasant. The people have been pleasant for the most part, and I really haven't had much of an issue. Now, I will point out one fucking thing that will drastically change on how your travel experience is, and that's how you actually integrate yourself into the culture. I'm not one of those fucking Americans that's gonna walk around saying, oh, America's the best place fucking ever, and pretty much trying to bring my American ideas and my American, traditions over here. I'm in Spain. I'm gonna do stuff how they do it in Spain. When they close for 3-4 hours in the middle of the fucking day, I'm not gonna sit here and question it. I'm just gonna say, okay, that's part of the culture here. I have to get used to it. And I feel like a lot of people don't do that. And that can, make it a little bit hard for trying to get comfortable or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I really haven't had much of an issue.
Let's talk about this travel ban bullshit. Is y'all seeing this? Trump just signed off on a travel ban that's basically a red carpet for xenophobia. 12 countries banned, most of them African, Middle Eastern, or Caribbean. 7 more hit with restrictions. Afghanistan, Haiti, Iran, Somalia, Yemen, the whole damn diaspora got hit with the do not enter sign. And let's not act like this is about national security. Because if it was, countries with actual records of state-sponsored terror or hacking might have made the list. But no, it's always the black and brown ones. This ain't policy, it's a pattern. The same pattern that shows up in redlining, border walls, and now flight bans. And don't hit me with the, he's just protecting the country. Protecting it from what? Diversity? Culture? Melanin? This is another reminder that election ain't just about taxes and gas prices. They shape who gets to even walk through the damn door. Drop an airplane emoji if you think this ban is bogus as hell. Comment your country below if your people just got targeted. Follow your boy Crypto Black, man. See you next time.
So I'm looking to take a trip. I'm talking to my friends. They're like, where are you going to go? And I list off some places. I'm like, maybe Malaysia, maybe Thailand again, maybe Japan, maybe Costa Rica, maybe Brazil, maybe Belize, maybe Colombia, maybe any of those places, right? And then I remembered, you want to know my process with how I make a choice of where I'm going to travel? As a black person, I have to remember, what type of food do I want with my racism? Because there's going to be racism everywhere I go. And I'm not going to stop traveling because what the fuck? I deserve to travel. I deserve to see the world. And I'm blessed and fortunate to. So yeah, I'm going to go there. I just need to keep in mind, I remember what type of racism do I want with my food? So the next time you see somebody black traveling, you're like, oh, how did you decide on where you wanted to go? People suggest Italy and Greece and all types of other amazing countries. But I don't love their food enough to be dealing with their racism. You know what I mean? And I've been to Italy. Been to Greece too.
He said, and I quote, "We do not allow your kind here."
I am learning so much from this discussion. I know in theory that American blacks get treated abroad better than blacks from other countries around the world. So while I've been blessed to not have personally experienced any overt racism while traveling internationally, I totally know that it is the privilege of the fact that I have a blue passport. So my question is, my Caribbean, my African, really my black brothers and sisters across the world, where are y'all treated well? Because I know that as Americans, we have a step up. We have additional privilege with that blue passport. Where are y'all going where you're not experiencing racism? Because that's where I want to give my dollars. I don't want to be going somewhere that's treating my brothers and sisters bad, even if they aren't doing it to me.
If you're black and you grew up in the US, you need to travel. And so if you look at history, you look at Miles Davis, you look at Jimi Hendrix, you look at Malcolm X, you look at what happens when black people leave. We start to realize that the world is different. The one we grew up in, it's tainted. Like when I left, I got to feel what it was like to be human. Just human. Not a reminder of my skin color. I mean, people, it was like...
Fellas, don't ever get your eyebrows pierced. I don't know what possessed an adult man to travel to other and then this is the type of dude that would complain about somebody in Italy staring at him. Somebody in Thailand is staring at him. Fool, because you got 2 antennas, 2 fly girl hoops, like you're a fly girl, fly girl, hanging out of your eyebrows. And he sounds so serious. If I had noticed those hula hoops hanging out of his face, he would not have made it to the clip. There have been times when I am doing research and I'll see the person that's giving the information, and the information is good, but I won't add them to the montage. Why? Because I believe that presentation is just as important as what you're trying to present. So I'm going to let him talk. But if I had saw those Cheerios, those Apple Jacks hanging out of his face before this video, he wouldn't have made it. Don't do this, fellas. This is not cool. There's nothing fly about this. This is stupid as can be.
It was like the first time I received some love. And that's why I said, man, go out and get you some love. And not a resort. Don't go to a resort. Don't go to some place where, you know, it's like, oh, people, like, go somewhere you haven't heard of. Go somewhere like, I don't know, Vietnam, Thailand, Mexico, China. I mean, anywhere. Just go and see how it is interacting with people.
Black Americans who travel overseas, this message is specifically to you. You all need to stop tolerating racist behavior and disrespect when you travel overseas. I have seen one too many videos from Black travelers who have been overseas, and they have tolerated strangers walking up to them, touching them, and putting their hands in their hair. And they blow it off saying, oh, well, you know, they've never seen a Black person before, and they're just curious. We live in the 21st century. People from all races and ethnicities have been traveling all over for generations now. And now we have the internet. That is not an excuse. And you all need to stop tolerating that kind of disrespect.
I'm going to say this. Sometimes you got to sit, and the reason why I put this part into the clip is for a reason. Don't let other Black people dictate your enjoyment or experience of being Black in another country. I remember this had to be about 4 or 5 years ago. It was a bunch of us brothers, and a couple of guys had their hair braided, right? And they had braided little twists and designs from the States. Cool brothers. And we're having lunch, and the waitress, who is a sister, we're in a Black restaurant here in Colombia, and the waitress who's a sister, she stops doing what she's doing, and she asked the brother, what type of braids were those? And she said, do you mind if I touch them? And he was like, no, I don't mind. And she's all in the braids, examining she explained to him, she said, I have never seen braids like. Now, as an American, we're used to seeing certain braid styles, and like, that's what we do in America. But in Colombia, their braid styles might be a little different. And so she's looking like, wow, I've never seen braids done like that before. So we go for a walk the next day. It's the same group of guys. This same brother gets pulled over as we're walk past some sisters, some Afro-Colombian police. The sisters pull him over, and they want to see his braids. And we're like, wow, we've got a lot of different styles here, but we don't have that style here. Not that it was better or worse, it was just different. How is a bald dude that's bald as I am going to complain to men and women that have hair to tell people stop touching your hair? Bruh, grow your own hair, and then you can complain about what people in other countries do with hair. Grow your own hair. If you are a person and you've got style and people like it and they're interested, and you don't mind somebody walking up to you and because you got big biceps, and the women in Asia walk up on you and just want to touch your biceps, and you don't have a problem with it, don't be letting other people project their problems on you in the name of blackness. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Everything that black people say to black people ain't always right. And sometimes we think that if I say it to my brothers and my sisters, then I must be right. Ain't that right, Dr. Umar? Sometimes black people give black people bad advice, such as this. If the sisters aren't complaining about somebody touching their hair, who are you who's bald like I am to complain about touching hair? T-Mac says, my daughter in Colombia has new braid style every week. Mellow Life says this, shout to Mellow in the building. He say, if a woman with a bonnet, if a woman with a, wait a minute, if you're in public with a do-rag, you're gonna get stereotyped. If you're a woman with a bonnet, you're gonna get stereotyped. Yeah, it just is what it is. He said, I think it's more about why you carry yourself or how you carry yourself. I didn't think that it's a race. I didn't think it was a race thing. Either did I. He say, you never get a second chance at first impressions. Absolutely correct. And Casual Jim says this. He said, it was like that in Poland. Seeing people on the internet and in person is two different experiences. That's true. It's one thing to see people, shout out to Troy in the building. It's one thing to see people in the comments. I mean, see people on the internet. It's another thing to see that actual person with that style or that look walking down the street in your community, which you never thought that you'd see.
And the reason that people all over feel that they can do that to we Black Americans is because of all of the anti-Blackness that this country has exported all over the world, to the point where we have been so dehumanized that people think that we are not deserving of the same respect and human dignity that everyone else is deserving of. Even if they have never seen a Black person, some things are universal. They need to ask your permission before they touch you. And this phenomenon, especially in East Asian cultures, of you going about your business and they're taking pictures of you like you're in a zoo and you're one of the specimens. Absolutely not. Stop tolerating that. And I am so glad that I'm seeing more and more videos of young Black travelers who aren't tolerating that kind of disrespect when they go overseas. They are respectful of the cultures that they're visiting, and they expect that treatment to be reciprocated. Some things are universal. But this, they're just curious. They've never seen a Black person before. Think about this, and this will prove to you that it is anti-Blackness that is in operation. How many videos have you seen of white women here in America who travel overseas complaining about the natives running up to them and putting their hands in their hair? Have you ever seen that? I haven't. So why do you?
You're correct. You haven't. But listen to the question that he asked. He said, how many times have you seen a white woman complain? Let's go right there. He said, how many times have you seen a white woman complain? I could run it back about somebody coming up to them and touching their hair. White women don't complain. Black women do. You go to certain locations, people touch white women hair, just like you go to certain locations, They touch black women hair. What's the difference? One complains about it. One doesn't think it's a big deal. I'm not saying either or is correct. Not at all. I'm just saying that both experience it and notices it differently. So yes, you're correct. You don't see white women complaining on social media. That doesn't mean that their experience of having their hair touched or whatever, their skin touched, is different. It's the same experience. It's just as how they react to it is different. International Quiet Storm said, I damn near got violated on a Japanese train. He said the ladies on the train touch me all the time. He said I just smile because I know they don't see brothers like me that often. That's a good way of putting it, Quiet Storm. He said this dude is an idiot. There's a village missing. They're idiot. He said Japanese people are very respectful. They are sometimes scared to approach you to ask you about your culture, especially something that you are wearing, about something you are wearing. Friendly environments always. And T-Mac says this. He said, when I was at the Forbidden City in Beijing, the entire tour group stopped and took photos with my daughter. They scolded me for not dressing her warm enough. Because you know that's how women are. Make sure that baby warm. Yeah, he sounds ridiculous, man. He sounds like he just needs somebody to talk to. So he turned his camera on.
Think that these same individuals feel it's okay to do that to us. And we allow it. We have been indoctrinated with showing grace in the face of disrespect, and it needs to end.
Racism is everywhere, it's true, but so what? If you wait for the world to be perfect before you travel, you're never going to see anything.
Perfectly said. Lil Mama said, if you wait for the world to be perfect to start traveling, you're never going to see anything. Anything. If you wait for the world to be perfect. Yeah. I caught that too, T-Mac. I caught that too.
You shouldn't let racism stop you from getting your passport because nobody else out here is letting anything stop them from traveling. We can't let fear stop us from seeing this beautiful world.
They love to tell Black women that the world isn't safe for us, that we shouldn't travel outside of our home countries because we're going to face racism everywhere we go. Some of the worst racism I've ever experienced in my...
The only people... I'm not going to let you slide back with that, sister.
From traveling. We can't let fear stop us from seeing this beautiful world.
They love to tell Black women that the world isn't safe for us, that we shouldn't travel outside of our home countries because we're going to face racism everywhere we go.
The only people that I notice that tell Black women they should not travel to certain countries are Black women. White men do not tell Black women, don't go to that country. White women do not tell Black women, not there. Black men do not tell Black women, sis. The only ones on social media that's telling Black women, you shouldn't go here, you shouldn't go there, you should go here, you should go there, are Black women. Black women are helping to build, but they are also helping to destroy their own narrative of being free and traveling. Nobody else. There's nobody. I look at hundreds of videos every day Nobody on social media is telling black women don't go here, don't go there, except black women. That's it. So the they who she's talking about is really her and her counterparts. Because the rest of us don't care where y'all travel to. If you're gonna travel, you're gonna travel. But the ones that discourage them from going to Italy, the one that discouraged them the most about going to Germany, the one that discouraged them the most about going to Thailand or going to this place or that place, it's other black women. It is not white dudes, black dudes, Latin dudes, other white women. Mello said, he said, if you're traveling and you leave the American mindset in America, then you won't have to worry about racism overseas. Adjust to their culture or go back to America. Absolutely. It's that simple. It's that simple.
The worst racism I've ever experienced in my entire life has happened in Canada, my own home country, the place I was born and raised. Racism doesn't just magically begin when you step foot out of your country. Anti-Black racism can be just as bad at home as it is abroad. So if you're a Black woman who actually wants to see the world, here's what I want you to know. First, do your research, like a lot of research, before you go anywhere. Research until you get to a point where you at least feel comfortable with the idea of going there. Not just because TikTok told you to. Because as fun as it is to be spontaneous, it's way better to not go in blind and potentially put yourself in dangerous situations. Second, try to connect with the locals as much as possible. This is where the real magic happens, and this is how you actually experience a place. And even if you don't speak the local language, be open-minded to using a translator. Don't expect people to speak your language, meet them halfway. Some of my best connections have happened through Google Translate. Next, make sure you have the contact information for your country's embassy. For me, that's always knowing where the Canadian embassy is located, just in case. It's better to have it and not need it. But most importantly, always try to have fun. Dance, eat, laugh, explore, take a million pictures, because that's what all of this is all about. The world is ours too, so don't let anyone convince you otherwise. You deserve to see it, experience it, and fall in love with it.
Hi Maya, this is completely valid. Fear of racism and discrimination is actually one of the top 4 reasons why Black Americans don't travel. So I understand it, and trust me, I'm with you. However, from my experience, the most racism I have ever faced has been in this here in the United States. The most I get anywhere else are stares. And of course, I do be looking good, so of course you're gonna stare like the fuck. Most memorably, these stares were from Venice, Italy, but it was mostly European tourists. I'm sick, but I think I said that wrong. Again, it was mostly Europeans. And China. But in China, it was different because they did the same thing to my friend with blonde hair and blue eyes. Everywhere else, you just feel like you're a part of the crowd. Maybe sometimes elevated because of our melanin, period. But all I say to this is experience it for yourself. Again, the worst racism I have faced has been in America. Everything else has been smooth sailing, I'm not gonna lie. Ignore the stares or let them elevate you and have the best time.
I can truthfully say that I've never encountered as much racism anywhere in the world as I have encountered in the United States.
Before she goes any further, put a 1 in the comment if the West, meaning the United States, Canada, UK, Australia, is where you've experienced the most racism in your life. Put a 1 in the comment. Because I'm going to tell you something. All the other countries that I've been to, I think they just practice with racism. They don't know what real racism is. You come back to America, we like the Shaolin temple of racism. It's like they be on a level 3, level 2 with their racism. Man, you come back to America, you automatically on level 8, level 9 racism. I just was wondering, am I the only one? I have never been to another country that's as racist as the United States. United States is proud of our racism. I kid you not. And that means that goes for any race. Blacks being racist towards whites, whites being racist towards blacks, Latins being racist towards Americans. We are like We are Bruce Lee. We are the 5 deadly venom of racism. Don't nobody know how to be racist like a man. That's why racism in other countries kind of make me giggle. What did he say? Well, in Spanish, he said, right. I'll be looking at other countries' racism and I'll be waiting for what's next. Okay, he called me the N-word. Okay, what's next? That's it? Oh, hell no. In the States, you ain't gonna just get the N-word. You're gonna get hung, lynched. You gonna come up missing. You got the police gonna roll up on you and put some of them hot things in you. In America, you could be handcuffed and get beat down by 3 black police officers because the white police officer told them to do so. In America, you cannot get the job just because of your skin color. Or you get the job and you got to work 3 times as hard. The white brother get off at 8 o'clock after 8 hours or 10 hours. You got to put in 16 hours just to prove to yourself to stay on the job. In America, you got a code switch. I can be with you guys in America. Come on now. Come on now. I don't have to do this in another country. I have yet to code switch in Europe. When I'm in America, I'm like this. What's up, brothers? All right. Then when I get to work, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a great day. Is there any projects that you guys need for me to help you with? All right. All right. Just reach out to me when you guys need any assistance. I'm here. Oh, well, I'm gonna go through my emails this morning anyway, so I'll take care of that. I'll respond to your email in a few moments. All right. Talk to you later. I got a code switch in America. I ain't never had the code switch. And white wrong be like, code switching? What is this code? White people at work, code switching is we have to be whatever's gonna make you feel comfortable. So we pretend we talk like that in real life. So you'll feel comfortable at work because you don't want to relate to us how we really talk. Even though we've got all these degrees and all of these accolades, we all basically talk the same way at the barbecue. You can give us an Emmy, an Oscar, and a Grammy the same year, but you can put a black person at the barbecue, they're going to be talking the same way as if they were working at the foundry. So we code switch so you'll feel comfortable. One of the things I do not miss about being in the United States, I ain't got the code switch for nobody ever again. Ever. If you don't like how I talk, too bad. Too bad. Yeah, man, I don't miss that, man. Some of y'all got to get up tomorrow morning and code switch. He said Colombia took me in and treated me as a family while I lived in Dua. He said Dominicans treated me like family when I visited Santo Domingo. Shout to D. Kirk in the building. Yes, sir. T-Max said in the U.S., dude was rude to self-delete himself. Dude was rude to self-delete himself in the back of a police car, right, with his handcuffs behind his back, and the wound was to his head. I remember that incident. That's the United States. You think I care about this little petty little monkey grunts that the Argentinians do? Monkey, 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 and throwing a banana? I give a fuck up. Dude, that's the worst you got? A banana. Wait a minute. You got teenage boys and girls that are missing in the United States right now. And the black kids. And the worst that I'm supposed to worry about with the Argentina is because you throw a damn banana in my dirt. Man, y'all get the hell out of here. Y'all don't know how to do real racism. Man, United States racism is like they just eliminate you and your family's wealth. I remember there was a time in the 50s and 60s, man, when black women would take that insurance policy that the families have been paying on for years, and the husband is passed on, but hey, we've got the insurance policy. It'll help cover the rest of the mortgage. And that black woman will go in there and say, I have the policy. And they would kick that black woman out, telling her, get her butt up out of here. We ain't paying you nothing. And you think I'm supposed to worry about an Argentina throwing a banana? When for years, what caused people to have economic equality was the fact you had a life insurance policy and or you had property and investments, and they were taking away the insurance policies, and the women were losing the houses and the investments. And you think I give a damn about a banana peel? Anybody that cries racism, that's an American, and you cry racism in another country, you ain't seen no real racism. That ain't no real racism, and you know it. American style racism is when they pull up on a little boy in Cleveland and blow his skull off, and he ain't got no guns or nothing. They didn't examine him or nothing. That's race is Trayvon Martin for walking down the street with a hoodie on, and a dude that wasn't a police officer deletes him. That's racism. Racism is when they take your resume, throw it in the trash because we're not hiring Tyrones this week or Andres. That's racism. But if you change your name on your application to Wigglesworth, you'll get 3 phone calls within a week. That's racism. I'm gonna tell you this. I ain't seen no real American style racism outside of America yet. In Colombia, I've seen people get their land, black people get their land stolen and go through this and go through that. And I know it's countries that go through some things, but I'm talking about American style, non-stop, 24 hours a day racism. I ain't seen it yet. So if y'all worried about do they like black people in that other country? Does it matter? They're not going to treat you as bad as America. Do the women in that country like black men? Don't matter, because they'll never treat you as bad as women in America treat you. Why does it matter that if Colombian women like you or not because you're black? The Colombian women will never treat you as bad as American women. Bet that. The Brazilian women will never treat you as bad as Canadian women. Bet that. You will never see me run around this planet worried. You better believe that one. Like I said, I've been all over Colombia, and 80% of the places I've gone to, I was the only black person. Nobody said anything, and any racism that occurred was up in here, not out there. Ain't nobody do nothing. I was just a regular person, a regular American walking around. Shout out to Kings in the building. He said Argentinian fans caught some hands in ATL. I heard about that. Yes, they did. They were accustomed to black folks not tolerating it. That's serious. I know, Jay. Let's continue on with the video. Shout Esco in the building. He said, let's not include Argentina in this conversation. He said they literally eradicated a huge chunk of the black population. Yes, they did. And they practically committed genocide. Yes, they did. Argentina is for real racist. They can't even keep up with America, though. Let's not talk about America and genocide. Yeah, they eradicated black folk. Do you know how many racists that were eradicated in America? We forget about the concentration camps of the Japanese. The average Japanese American was thrown into concentration. We forget about them killing over 100,000 buffalo so they can starve the Native American that they were losing the wars to. You forget about through slavery, the years of the eradication of our connection to the continent of Africa. And this is why we so adamant and so close when it comes to our Americanness, because they literally wiped out all the Africanness from our spirit. Yeah, Argentina, he did bad and are doing bad things, but can't nobody keep up with America. Nobody. Did you know this? Remember the one young lady on the list of racial equality and inclusion for 2025, 2026? Did you know Argentina ranks in the top 50 countries in the world for inclusion, where America is still, what was that, number 153 or number 123? 123. And Argentina at least made it to the 50. We could talk. I'm not playing the victim. I'm not doing the victim game. Like our situation is worse than that situation. I'm saying that when you're traveling, fellas, you are not going to experience racism like you did in the States. You're not. Make no mistake, though, Dre, the U.S. is the messiah of racism. The mecca of racism. Racism around the world face America when they pray. Absolutely correct. Great way of putting it. He said, especially in Mississippi and Alabama. Come on now. Argentina, Israel, and the U.S. voted against the resolution that labeled slavery as one of the worst tragedies in world history. Absolutely correct. Just recently. Let's continue on with the video. We're almost done, gentlemen. But this sister is right. If you want to get your racism on, stay in the States.
Took me to school sailor, I'm not gonna lie. Ignore the stares or let them elevate you and have the best time.
I can truthfully say that I've never encountered as much.
That's sad. That's really sad.
Racism anywhere in the world as I have encountered in the United States. Typically, people are really open. If anything, they just, again, they're not familiar with us, and so they may ask questions. They want to take photos. I mean, they're fascinated with the beauty and, nothing like that melanin. But overall, I would say no. Not to sugarcoat things or make it seem like that it does not exist, but never an experience where like, oh, I feel like I'm being watched or someone's clutching their purse or, anything like that. That typically happens in the States.
What up, fellas? Point guard coming back to you. I've been seeing some disturbing things around how U.S. citizens will be able to move in 2026. I don't want to sound the alarm. I don't want to be crazy or anything or outlandish, but I'm hearing that once the World Cup is over, freedom of movement for American citizens inside the United States and outside the United States will be compromised. To what degree, we don't know. But you will not be able to move around as freely as you do right now. And if you are interested in relocating outside the United States, you may want to get on that sooner rather than later. I know that we always think that we have time, but we don't, guys. We don't always have time to do what we really need to do. Things are shifting rapidly. This is something that you guys probably don't want to deal with around the holiday season, but we're at the end of 2025, preparing for 2026. And if you're not preparing to relocate to the place that you really want to go, be prepared to stay in the United States for a while, because it looks like they're going to really clamp down on international travel and travel within the United States. Okay. Check your own sources, do your own due diligence. I only come to you because I'm concerned for you guys that want this freedom of movement, that want an opportunity to live your next chapter in a desirable location. Go to my bio, get your global scouting report first. It will give you a readiness of your, it will give you a score of your readiness to relocate. Second, go find your country in 72 hours. It will help you flush out all the information, help you stop watching a gazillion YouTube videos, and will get you clear on the country that you belong to. Okay, you guys enjoy your Sunday, enjoy your holiday season, and until next time, holla, y'all.
Is there racism in Spain? I get this question a lot from my fellow Black friends, and I'm sure there are plenty of Black people that are wondering whether or not they will experience racism if they come to Spain. Well, I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. The entire world is racist, babe. I have lived and traveled to quite a few countries, and yes, there are places where I feel completely comfortable, and there are places where I have experienced prejudice. But here's the thing. I am so confident in who I am that I know that I can live anywhere and thrive. Not survive, thrive. I know this may sound harsh, but if your fear of experiencing racism is stopping you from traveling somewhere or moving to a new country, just stay home. I see so many TikToks of Black women and Black people in general saying that they always research the countries that they're going to before they go. I never do that. Ever. Because to me, that comes from a place of fear. And don't get me wrong, I've had racist experiences during my travels, and I've also had them in the US, where I'm from. But I guess I've reached a point where that just doesn't faze me anymore. It's not going to ruin my day or stop me from doing what I love, which is traveling. So my biggest piece of advice is to just stop researching if a country is racist or not before visiting, because that just feeds into fear, and you're always going to find something that confirms it. Racism exists everywhere, and that is just the reality. But at the same time, the world is such a beautiful place, and there are so many kind people in this world. So do not let your fear stop you from booking that trip, moving to a new country, or just living your life in general. Because there are too many amazing places out there in the world that are waiting for you to experience them.
One thing I've never understood is people being deterred from visiting a country because someone else has told them they've had a racist experience over there. See me, if there's a country I want to go to, if there's some place I want to see, I will be there no matter what. I feel like people just get swayed too easily nowadays, because why would you cross off a dream destination just because someone else had a bad experience over there? And this isn't me undermining racism. I know how it can affect your trip, going to a place where you're feeling like you're unwanted. If that's the case, you usually need to look around you, because look who just swept up all the local elections anyways. Even me, I experienced racism on my first trip out without family. With me and my boy, we went to Italy for the first time, and an officer stopped and searched us for like 20 minutes. It was very, very clear that this guy was racially profiling us, because when he asked us where we were staying at, pointed to the address that was literally opposite us. The officer then took our key to our Airbnb and unlocked it just to prove that we were saying the truth. 99% sure you're not allowed to do that. Would I tell people not to go to Italy just because of that experience? No, I still would recommend it, because it's a very beautiful place and there's so many things to see. At the end of the day, if there's a place you want to go and visit, just go.
So one of the greatest gifts America will give you is that blue passport, opportunity to travel the world, the freedom to travel the world. My sisters understand the value of that blue passport. Listen, being an American citizen is not for you to travel from America to your home country. Traveling to your home country is not a vacation. It's another job entirely. We are here to view heaven on earth. The prototype of heaven. The heaven you read about is here in Vietnam. This is how heaven looks like. What's going on? We are in Vietnam, baby. Travel. You are not depressed. You are just in the wrong place. Stop stalking, doing 2 jobs, 3 jobs. Problem not they finish. Family problem not they finish. Destroy the camera.
We gotta see the world.
Gotta see the world.
Gotta see the world. You can't stay in a cocoon. Yeah, travel is education. It opens your eyes, opens your experience. You gotta get out there, get perspective, see culture. Yeah. Gotta do it. But get out there. Get out there.
Enjoy your life.
Get out there.
Enjoy yourself.
Work hard, play hard.
There's only one life to live.
One life. I love that. Listen, if you die today, if you die today, your next of kin will use your money smoke Igbo. Take care of yourself. We used to have this thing in Nigeria with the cattle ranch. No, it was really good. Over the cattle ranch. Yeah, Calabar.
All right. beautiful view in Vietnam. Beautiful view in Vietnam. Once again, this live stream was not to attack or bring racial disparities or discouragements or anything. It's actually to encourage you guys that when you relocate and start traveling a lot more, there is a freedom that a lot of Black Americans, Latin Americans, Black Americans will not experience in America. You can say that you're free, and your money doesn't even make you free in America. Not as free as you will feel when you are traveling. Why do you think so many brothers and sisters, that when they got money as entertainers, either relocate to another country or do a lot of vacations in other countries? Because even though they have the money and the accolades, the true freedom is waiting for them outside the United States. And so it is with all of us. And if you have not made it outside the United States, your first time is going to change your life. I've got 2 life-changing books in my life, my Bible and my passport. My Bible and my passport are the most important books that I've had that were life-changing. Life-changing. Shout out to International Quiet Storm with the $10 love. Appreciate you, brother. David says this. He said, Dre, I just want to say thank you, fam. There are times double creep in. He say, because I'm not overseas yet. He say, but the live streams help greatly. I try to keep us all encouraged, man. I really do. I try to keep us all encouraged for our next trips or even our first trips. He said, I will visit a lot more African countries. Yeah, that's how we feel too. A lot more African countries, but I have to be careful and selective due to my health. That's true, T-Mac. He said, Vietnam taxes are high, I heard. I'm not sure, but you might be right. You might just be right. I know a lot of people that are moving there, though. The agenda, the Pookies, the Keishas, the Pookies, the white libs, consider passport bro boogie for not sizing each other up abroad. That's another thing. That's a good point. It's amazing how much more we all get along with each other when we're outside the United States. Certain dudes in Chicago that would have never spoken to each other hang out with each other when we're outside the United States. Certain guys from LA who wouldn't have dared hung out with each other are like brothers outside of the United States. You do not see anybody waving their Bloods and Crips flag outside. If any of you guys that were born and raised Bloods, Crips, Gangster Disciples, Blackstone Rangers, Chicago, you know what I'm talking about. I don't see y'all nowhere waving y'all flags when y'all leave the United States. Even though y'all might still be a part of your groups, you start to realize the world is bigger than what I represent back home. The world is bigger than what I represent back home. T-Mac said, he said, won't lie. I cried when my Japanese girlfriend broke up with me in 2009 in Tokyo. She treated me like a king. She learned to dance Cuban salsa, that is. It was ultra flexible. It was difficult. He said, yeah, Dre, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. All right, gentlemen, let's go ahead and head up out of here. Let you guys enjoy the rest of your night. I'll be seeing you guys mañana, tomorrow. You guys have a great evening. Let's get an outro video going. This was fun.